You're now listening to another episode of Renegade Podcast, and I'm interviewing the one and only Serum. He is a Batman animated series YouTuber. He also talks about other sort of cartoons during the DCAU era, or like the DC Animated Universe era. It was kind of like the MCU of animation back in the day. So yeah, I'm very excited for this interview. I've been waiting for this for a long time. Let's get it. 3, 2, 1, and we go. Here we are, man.
Hello.
Hello,
okay?
How you doing?
Great.
Great, bro.
Sorry,
Great.
Headphones. Where are my headphones?
Yeah, bro.
Let's see if I can get this to work. Sorry, I should have been better prepared.
It's all good, bro. It's all good, man. It's all good. Alright. How's your day been, man?
Okay, let me see. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay, great. And I can hear you. Perfect.
Yes. Okay. How's your day been, man?
I literally just got back from seeing Fantastic Four, so it's been good.
Did you enjoy that movie?
I did, yes, yeah.
It's been bro. You don't know, bro. You don't know how long I've been waiting for a proper Fantastic Four movie, man. Like, I know the mid 2000s. I know those movies weren't as bad as people say, but like they weren't that good. And the 2015 one was absolutely trash. So it feels good that we have a movie that lives up to the name, you know. So
yes, yeah, very much so.
Yeah. So my first question is, what is the origin of your channel's name and logo? I know it's sort of obviously is based off the Batman animated series and your love of it, but like, what was sort of the inspiration behind it?
Well, I'll go with the picture first. So that's a picture of my cat Thor watching Batman with me. He likes to. He used to. He used to like cuddling up with me and watching stuff on TV, and I just took a picture of it because I thought it was nice. So it's a nice, positive picture.
Yeah.
And the origin of the name Serum Lake, it's an anagram of my name.
Whoa. Okay. Interesting. That is interesting. So it's funny because my first introduction to your channel was a couple of years ago. Like, I was on my phone and I see your videos on my recommendation, and I'm like, I keep scrolling past it. And then one day I'm thinking to myself, okay, let me just click on this video. You know, I'm always up for sort of up and coming YouTubers, and it was about this video I think it was about the Joker, I think. And your delivery and your editing really caught my attention, because it wasn't just surface level stuff. Like, you was going very deep into the material. I always wanted to watch the animated series. And I started watching it afterwards, and I started understanding sort of kind of the art that I was seeing right in front of my eyes. What was inspiration behind that video? And did you think that you sort of be becoming this sort of go-to guy for this stuff?
That's very nice of you to say I'm a go-to guy. I don't think I am. I think people listen to me.
Yeah.
If you ever look at my comments, most people are very nice, but there'll be like 5-10% of people going, actually, and saying just like things that are completely wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, in terms of like origin, like inspiration, so there's a couple of things. I really loved Batman the Animated Series. I was just the right age for it when it came out. So I was like 5-6 years old when it came out. And it was burnt into my brain. And I really loved it. And I wanted there to be like more discussion about it.
Yeah.
And, there are people out there that make videos about it. Shout out to Watchtower Database. They do most, I would say. But then you'll have other channels pop up. And every now and then, they'll do a video, say, about Heart of Ice or what's another one they always talk about that I'm always seeing? You might occasionally see one about Mark Hamill's Joker or Mask of the Phantasm or whatever. Which is great. Love them. Think it's amazing. But I didn't think that there was enough.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I had thought about doing it for about 15 years.
Yeah.
And I just never did it. Never got around to doing it. Always made excuses not to do it.
Yeah.
And then Kevin Conroy died.
Wow.
And I felt really profound sadness that I couldn't shake.
Yeah.
And I was talking with someone I know about it, and she was saying to me, you should do something creative, because you're a creative guy, smart guy. Do something creative to talk about why you like that stuff so much, and maybe it'll make you feel better. And do you know what? It did.
Wow, that's a really interesting. That's a really interesting thing you say, because funny enough, I'll tell you a story.
Let's see.
So it's so funny because it kind of feels really sort of tragic that Kevin Conroy and Arleen Sorkin, shout out to her, both died, like literally I think in the same year, I think. And it's just
within a year, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like you just think about like the impact they both had on both of their characters. Like it's something I always keep mentioning is that to me, I think the Batman animated series' greatest achievement to me is that they took something, because people don't understand, like before that series, and honestly before the Burton movies, like because people forget the animated series would not be there without the sort of the revamped hype for the Batman lore. Yeah, right? And that's something that also, that's that connective tissue that people don't really sort of discuss, is that before those things, people think that Batman was Adam West's Batman. And, like, that couldn't be further from the truth. You know? And I'm not saying it has its place, but that's not the whole thing. That's not the whole cake, you know? So it's like, it's so interesting that, to me, the very fact is that it sort of just, it was back to basics approach to Batman. And I think other series that try to emulate it or imitate it often fail, because it's not just about aesthetics. It's about the character and the writing and the compassion and the care, right? And it's funny because I was like, did you watch the recent Superman movie?
I did, yes.
Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Okay. You could, like you're a lover, whatever, you cannot deny that James Gunn loves Superman. You cannot deny that, like, what you saw on screen was his full, unearthed passion for the character. It kind of actually did reminded me of the animated series of Batman, but in a different way, right? Yeah. The storytelling and the multiple story, like, it to me, it's like, if you don't love your characters that you're writing about, then what's the point? Like, that was my issue with Snyder's take on these characters. And no disrespect, like, look, anybody can have whatever interpretation of whatever character, but you can't just sit there and say, okay, these are the characters that they are. No, they're not. It's just an alternate take on those characters, right? Like, why do you think that so many people were so confused about the new Superman movie when it was coming out? Because the Superman perception was so warped. Like, can you imagine if we didn't have the recent Batman movie? Like, the perception of Batman would be that he's just a guy that kills people with guns. Like, that would just be, again, like, obviously, that's not really realistic. But it's like, people's perception are often based off the adaptation, not really the comics or even the anime stuff, because you understand, we live in a different world now, Not many people read, which is tragic, but I think that's a whole nother problem for a whole nother day.
Yeah, very true, very true. Yeah, that's you're very right. People, not even. I don't think most people even actually watch the movies. They just kind of have like a general just general perception of it based on clips they've seen on the internet or shorts on YouTube or TikTok or whatever. Maybe bits from a trailer that they've watched. And it kind of informs their opinion on these characters. And, there is a place for people like that as well. You don't have to be like a super hardcore fan like me that obsesses over every single, every single expression on a character's face to figure out what they're really thinking,
Yeah, really, really agree with that. So, how long does it take to make your videos? Because your videos are they're long videos, 10-minute, 15-minute videos. Like, how long does it take?
It depends on how much research I have to do. If it's something that I know off the top of my head, then I could get it done in a day.
Okay.
But if I have to go off and find the comics, read the comics, think about then what the implications are from those comics on the animated episode that I'm talking about, maybe 2 or 3 days.
Okay. Interesting. So, was that animated series, was that your first introduction to Batman, or was it from another source?
No, the first... Well, I watched the Adam West series when I was much younger.
Yeah.
And I liked it. And my dad got us the Tim Burton first Batman movie when that came out on VHS I think it was in 1990 is when it came out. And my brother and I watched that almost every day for about 2 years. It's to the point where, at one point, I could recite the whole script from the movie, just start to finish. I could just say the whole thing if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Occasionally, my brother will sometimes send me a message with a line of dialogue from the film, and I'll respond with the next line.
That's funny.
But, so when Batman the Animated Series was announced, I remember there was a neighbour kid was running down the street holding a copy of the Radio Times, which is like the TV listings guide in the UK. He was waving it in the air going, "There's a new Batman cartoon coming out!" And we poured through that magazine, looking at it, I was going, "Oh my God, this looks like the greatest thing in the universe." So I was there, day one, first time it aired. One of the background painters recently told me, actually, that one of the background painters from Batman the Animated Series, he said to me that the UK was the first market to air it. So actually we would have been one of the first people outside of, Warner Brothers to have seen it. Because obviously time zone differences, we're 8 hours ahead of California.
Yeah.
So that was a nice little bit of trivia I didn't realise.
Damn, that's interesting. Obviously you're from the UK, and how? So my thing would be so growing up in the UK, right? And obviously every country has their own sort of separate problems or whatever. How did it inform on the content that you make, or has no bearing on the content you were making?
Oh, it must have some impact on me, surely, because it's, my perception of the world is shaped by, life experience.
Yeah.
I can say that my grandfather was a coal miner, and you probably don't know this, but in the 80s, Margaret Thatcher was shutting down all the coal mines.
Yes.
And basically importing all of the coal from Europe.
Yeah.
And there were lots of protests and strikes and so on. My granddad was very much involved in that and very anti-conservative.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff that the environment that I grew up in, and I have, I understand where conservative people come from, but I don't think they necessarily always look at the big picture. I think they're very kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not reactionary. I don't want to say selfish, because that's too diminutive and insulting. I'm not trying to be insulting, but they kind of think about how things affect them first, rather than thinking, well, hang on a minute, what is the impact going to be on everybody else as well? Yeah.
That's a really interesting perspective, actually, because, I live in Canada, right? I told you this, and the thing about conservatism in Canada is, for a lot of people, it's because besides, obviously, the current, because we just had our elections a couple months ago, and one of the big narratives was that there was, this referendum on what needs to be conservative in Canada, because there was a branch of conservatives in Canada. They were just, they're liberals, but who don't like the Liberal Party. And there's another portion, and it's a growing portion, that are trying to mimic the people of MAGA down in the States.
Yeah.
And Canadians can see through that shit. They could see the BS right then and there. We're not voting for this guy. Because he's trying to cozy up to Trump. He's trying to be like Trump. And it's we don't need a Trump. We don't need that. We already have enough issues as it is. So it's again, it's and the thing I always say is that if you're rich or you're poor, below the poverty line, you're not going to care who's at the top, because you already are kind of set either way, right? It's the middle class, I think, determines all of that, I think. And people can say, well, there's no such thing as the middle class. I disagree. There still is one. Granted, it's much smaller than before, but there still is. And that's the thing, is that how you sort of sell an idea to a group of people that, frankly, their lives are not going to improve either way unless you just tear everything down, which, again, these people are not going to do because, again, it requires their whole worldview to, again, shift. And that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, we have something similar in the UK where it's like the middle class that own property. Their first question is, what is the impact going to have on my house price?
Yeah.
Right? That's like the measure of success in the UK, how valuable your house is. And it's got to the point now where housing is so expensive that a lot of younger people just can't even afford to get on the bottom rungs of the property market ladder, right? Yeah. They can't even buy anything. They're stuck renting. Never mind like low-income people across all generations. It's a real problem. It's a really bad problem.
Yeah, for sure. My next question would be, is that can I ever like scrap the video?
Yeah, loads. I'll start writing something out, and then I'll read. While I'm writing it, I think, you know what, this is okay. This is a solid idea. I think I'm onto something here, and I'll get to the end of it, read it back, and go, no, that's absolute crap. Get rid of it. Forget about it. Move on. Try something else.
Interesting. So, you made other videos about like other animated series. How did you, like, because obviously people know you for doing the Batman animated series videos, but how did you start branching out?
Well, I didn't want to run out of DC Animated Universe stuff to talk about. That was my main concern. And then Cape Crusader was coming out, and I was very lucky to be offered early access to it. I thought, you know what, I will make videos about Cape Crusader, and they did very well. And I thought to myself, you know, I should probably keep this going and look at some of the other Batman shows that other people come into my Batman the Animated Series videos will go, oh, you should talk about such and such from the Batman, or Brave and the Bold, etc., etc. So that's kind of how it all started, basically. I was offered the opportunity to talk about Cape Crusader early.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Had a good reception to most of the videos, so I thought, let's keep that going.
Interesting. It's funny you mentioned the Batman Cape Crusader, because I really remember, like, when I saw that announcement, and all the people from the animated series are gonna, like, all the creative people, they're gonna be back, and like, what was your initial reaction? Did you think, okay, this is just gonna be a cash grab, or were you actually excited for it?
Well, I was excited for it because I trusted the creative team because, there are people that are responsible for stuff that I've loved earlier in life. I did feel a little bit misled because when it was first announced, it was very much presented as like a spiritual continuation of Batman the Animated Series. Yeah. But I think off the top of my head, the only person that worked on Batman the Animated Series that worked on Cape Crusader was Bruce Timm. He might have brought back a couple of other designers, possibly, maybe some background painters. I don't think he did, but he might have done. So it wasn't really very much like Batman the Animated Series at all. I think, honestly, it reminded me more of Beware the Batman than anything else. Yeah. But, when I watched it, I was very happy with it. Okay. I would have absolutely loved for them to do, another 10 or 20 episodes of Batman the Animated Series. But, by that point in time, as they were working on it, Kevin Conroy had died. And, that boat has now sailed. Yeah. We've got to accept that it's not coming back. Yeah. They're not doing anything more with it. And we can just be happy with what we've got.
It's interesting you say that because, obviously, did you watch the Teen Titans when it was out, the series?
Yeah, I did, yes.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. I can't think of any of like the DC cartoons that I don't like. I flat out don't like. Can't think of any. There are some that don't really speak to me and don't inspire me, like the Batman. Batman, it's fine. It's okay. Yeah. But it doesn't occupy my thoughts in the same way that Batman the Animated Series does. Yeah.
I was just thinking about, because the thing about the Teen Titans that I was going to mention is that there was this cliffhanger at the end, I think, of season 5. And that has been a massive point of contention, and ever since then, it didn't really make a season 6. Then Tea Time Go happens, and it's still running to this day. And it's not the same. It's not serialized storytelling, right? It's not the same. Again, it's more for kids, and that's a whole different conversation. But ever since it sort of ended on that note, people have been saying, we want season 6, we want season 6. And I was one of those people for a little bit, then I realized, like, at some point, things just end. Like, sure, would a season 6 of Tea Times be amazing? Of course. But would a part of me think that even if they were to end it perfectly, people would say, well, we're season 7, we're season 8, yada, yada, yada. Like, it's just, like, some point, people just got to move on, man, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel similarly about Young Justice, because they did bring that back for a final season, didn't they? What was it called? Bloodlines? Was that what it was called? I can't remember now.
Yeah.
And it was fine. It was okay. But I don't know. It just existed, you know?
Yeah.
It was perfectly good way to spend your time.
Yeah.
But again, it didn't really say anything, and I kind of find myself wondering, would Young Justice have been better overall if that final season didn't happen?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. So, you know, it's interesting. We're on the topic of Young Justice because, to me, I feel like one of the biggest problems is that I think people think that fandoms should control the direction of the franchise. Where I think the creatives should control what direction a franchise should go. That's their job. Yeah. You're not a director. You're not an actor. You're not a writer. You're there to enjoy. Sure, you want to critique it. Go ahead. Do all day. But I think there's this perception that the fans control it, where it's really the opposite.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay. So my next question is that when the initial anime series of Batman ended, how did you feel? Were you emotional? Were you crying? How did you feel? How did the emotions sort of...
No, I didn't have any negative feelings about it. I knew that they were working on Superman next. I was like, okay, well, I'll check out Superman.
Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing that did annoy me, though, is when they came back to do the new Batman Adventures. Yeah. Over here, it aired on Sky.
Yeah.
So satellite TV, and we didn't have it. I couldn't watch it. That really annoyed me. I was like, why have they done this? It used to be on Saturday morning on terrestrial television every week for about 5 years. It was on. And they just took it away, and I couldn't get to see it until the DVDs came out. And actually, funnily enough, that final box set that had the new Batman Adventures was, I don't think it ever actually officially released in the UK.
Wow.
I ended up importing it. But it worked, so.
Interesting. This might be a little bit of on-nose question, but are you into sports, man?
Oh, could you repeat that?
Are you do you watch sports?
Oh, no, not at all.
Wow. So if England is playing in the World Cup, you're not going to watch it?
No way. That's the best time to go out because everyone's staying home watching it. I can go to the shops, I can go buy stuff. There's no one around. It's fantastic. I love that World Cup season. Whenever there's an England game, that's when I go out.
Interesting. Do people sort of look at you weird when you say you're not interested, you're not in it? Because I know it's a big culture of footy. Footy literally was created in the UK, so
No, there are people that don't really care for it. I mean, most people only really care when the big games are on, you know?
Yeah.
But the thing is, I'm kind of, at least when I was younger anyway, I was a very big, muscular guy. Yeah. So I think even if people did think it was weird, they wouldn't say anything.
Yeah. Interesting. What music do you listen to?
Do you know what? I don't really listen to music very much anymore. My wife tends to decide on what gets played in the car. But and then I just zone out. But I used to listen to like grunge. I like Pearl Jam. I like I don't mind Nirvana. So I was quite happy with the Batman soundtrack.
Interesting. Who's your favorite movie director and why?
Oh, that's a tough one. Do you know what? I'm going to say my favorite movie director is Elia Kazan.
Ooh.
Because he is from the classic Hollywood era that, everyone's familiar with his work. But he directed movies like A Streetcar Named Desire, On the Waterfront.
Yeah.
My mind has gone completely blank. He did one with James Dean as well. Which one did he do? East of Eden, there we go.
Yeah.
I quite liked his just his general directing style.
Yeah.
He was very much in favour of letting the actors do the work, rather than being like, a director, with his way or the highway.
Yeah.
Like Alfred Hitchcock was very much a director who staged everything himself, and if you did not do exactly what he wanted, it ruined the film for him.
Yeah.
And he could give you a very tough time if you didn't do what he said. Whereas Kazan was very open and I want the actors to inhabit these roles and I want them to be these people on camera. I'm just here to capture it.
Yeah.
And that's what I like. And, I do like Hitchcock as well, but I'll say Kazan.
Okay, interesting. Who's your favorite actor / actress?
Marlon Brando, hands down.
Yeah. Yeah, he really is. He kind of invented modern acting. I don't think people really bring that up like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you ask Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Jack Nicholson, they'll all say Brando was their big inspiration. Montgomery Clift as well. He's someone who doesn't get mentioned very often. He's really good too.
Who's your favorite actress?
I have to think about that.
Yeah.
Modern era or classic, shall we say?
Both.
Okay. Who is an actress that I always watch their movies? I can't think. Top of my head. No. I can't. I can't think. I mean, when I think about actresses, the first one that comes to my mind is Kim Basinger because of Batman, right?
Yeah.
Because I watched that movie so much when I was a kid, but she's not my favourite, not by any means. Michelle Pfeiffer's really good. I'll say her as well. You can see the Batman connection there. But Michelle Pfeiffer is very good.
Yeah. With you on that. What is your favorite TV show that is not the Batman animated series?
I really like a comedy called Red Dwarf.
Okay.
Probably never heard of it. It's a British sci-fi comedy. It's about the last man alive in the universe 3 million years from now.
Oh, yes.
And he is his job was basically a janitor, and he'd been put in suspended animation for smuggling a cat on board their spaceship, which risked making everyone sick.
Yeah.
But while he was in suspended animation, the ship's nuclear reactor leaked and killed everyone on the ship, and the ship flew off into space.
Yeah.
To isolate until the radiation levels died down, and it took 3 million years. And so then he's released from suspended animation. There are no other humans alive in the universe. It's him, a hologram of his bunkmate, who he really hated, a neurotic android that's designed just for cleaning, and a creature that evolved from, or I should say, is a descendant of his cat that he'd smuggled on board. So it's kind of like a humanoid cat. And it's their slobbish, lazy space bum adventures flying around the universe trying to find meaning. It's very funny.
Interesting. Low key, that could actually be adapted to an actual movie. I think Edgar Wright would have a lot of fun with that.
Oh yeah, he probably would. Yeah.
Interesting. Damn, that is interesting. Where you sort of, again, it's interesting because the reason why I asked that question is, it feels like we're in this sort of extended era of the TV golden era. It really started with The Sopranos and The Wire, then Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, and I would argue shows like Severance and, Stranger Things, and even you want to throw Wednesday in there, you can. I wouldn't. Are sort of they're sort of like they're like the new cinematic sort of expression of sort of feeling on TV. Do you think that we're gonna exit that era anytime soon, or do you think it's just good? This is just the norm.
I think that this kind of is the norm.
Yeah.
Because it all started with what do they call it in the States? Like the satellite TV, the cable shows. There we go. Yeah. So they wanted to attract viewers, so they paid like the top talent to just make what they wanted to make, with the hope that the success, the quality of the show would lead to success. That's how you got things like The Sopranos and The Wire and The Shield as well. I love The Shield. I thought that show was great. No one ever talks about that. Yeah. And then when the streaming platforms started up, they used the same mentality. Like, hey, here's a blank checkbook. Make whatever you want to make. And they've kind of moved beyond that slightly in that they've gone global with it. So it's not just limited to like a North American audience. It's just look at Squid Games, for instance. They picked that out of obscurity in Korea, and it's just become this massive global phenomenon that's hugely influential and will continue to be so. And they're going to find something else from some other country at some point in time, and it's just going to keep happening. I mean, unless like the whole entertainment industry completely collapses, which it potentially could with the rise of AI, as people just try and churn out AI-generated slop for entertainment. You never know, but I don't think that will happen. I think there'll always be a space for high quality, human crafted content.
It's interesting you mentioned AI, because that was going to be my next question. Is that, do you think that AI will eventually be the new norm and new standard, or do you think this sort of AI is sort of a moral panic, a gimmick, or a fad where 10, 15 years from now it's irrelevant, no one's really using it, and we just look back and sort of like the Y2K era type of thing?
I think it's a little bit of all of those potential situations, because AI can be a very useful tool, right? Yeah. It can streamline like mundane tasks, repetitive tasks. And in that sense, it's good. If you tried to get AI to write a script, it probably won't actually turn out anything good. Yeah. And I don't know that. I mean, who knows what the future might hold? But I'd be surprised if in the future, you could say, write me an old school Tennessee Williams style play about a romance in the South, and it won't be able to churn out a streetcar named Desire, right? It won't be able to do that. Maybe in the future it might have something that's a close approximation. But I think that a lot of this like panic around AI comes from like a misunderstanding of what it is and how it should be used. Yeah. Rather than what it actually is. Yeah. And how it can be used. So, for instance, if I've got a tight deadline, I might use ChatGPT and say, "Hey, write a description for this video for me. Here's the script. Tell me what the description should be," and it will churn out a description. I'll just copy and paste it. That saves me like 10 minutes. Yeah. And I think that kind of AI use is perfectly fine. But if I were to go, "Hey, ChatGPT, tell me all about the how much Batman the Animated Series hated rich people," it wouldn't turn out anything good. Yeah. I don't think so. Anyway, I haven't tried yet. Maybe I should try. Might eat my own words.
Interesting. It's funny. It's interesting you mentioned that, because I feel like, again, I mentioned this before, our perception of things are often, again, they're lifted from things we see in media, and again, a lot of the AI stuff we see in media are from things like Alien, and it's Terminator, and sci-fi, dystopia, Doctor Who, Star Trek, Star Wars, and all of it, again, all of it is negative initially. I think is that, there's this sort of kind of basic misunderstanding how the technology works, and I also think there's really a lack of technology literacy, right? Because they don't teach that stuff in schools. They don't even teach accounting in schools, right? So again, it's like you're kind of on your own, and it's like, how do we sort of navigate this era of where people again are misunderstanding the very basics of their sort of environment?
Yeah, I agree. It's something we should keep an eye on, absolutely, but I don't think it's something to be afraid of.
Yeah, for sure. Who you think, obviously in the Batman community, there's always this debate about who's the best iteration of these characters, but who you think is the best Batman, live action and animation?
It's Kevin Conroy, easy.
Okay.
Hands down.
Okay.
I mean, he had the luxury of playing Batman for like nearly 30 years,
yeah,
right, on and off. But he's been Batman in the cartoons, the video games, a little bit of live action.
Yeah,
he's played it the most, so he's basically defined it. And I don't think there's really very many others that come close.
Okay.
If we're going to limit it exclusively to live action movies, I'd probably say Michael Keaton is the best one overall.
Okay.
I think Christian Bale was an excellent Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
But I thought his Batman was a bit lacking.
Yeah.
And Ben Affleck was okay, but I think the problems I have with his performance are less to do with him and more just to do with like the general
writing.
Yeah, the writing and the direction.
Yeah.
As a Batman, he was okay.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. Like, I think like the funny thing is, I feel like it's funny you mentioned Keaton because I really feel like Michael Keaton to me might be the most I wouldn't say underrated actor because he's had a lot of success in his career and accolades, but I really feel like in terms of just the best actors of all time, I don't think he's brought up in that conversation nearly enough. I'm not saying he's the GOAT, but I think he should be brought up more because his versatility is absolutely insane, right? He could play Beetlejuice, Batman, Birdman, and you could again, and these characters are so completely different. You might be thinking they're played by 3 different people, but they're played by one person, right? So, also I would say, if Michael Keaton's Batman didn't work, there will be no Batman animated series, right? So it's like that's where most of the characterization came from too, right? So it's like it's a whole different thing. Did you like Pattinson's Batman?
Yeah. Yes, I did actually. I thought it was quite good. Emo Batman. I thought it was a perfectly valid interpretation.
Yeah. Okay.
One of the things I liked about that movie actually is how they worked in like references to almost every era of Batman, even going so far as like referencing Adam West, because you know like how Adam West and Burt Ward used to walk up the walls. Well, this Batman runs down the walls. He's got his zip wire attached to him, and then he just sprints down the walls. It looked kind of funny, but I really liked that little nod towards Adam West. Okay.
Who do you think is the best... Okay, who do you think is the best Joker, live action and animation?
You know who I'm going to say.
Mark Hamill. Yeah.
It's Mark Hamill. Of course it is. Again, he's had the luxury of playing him for over 30 years in, various different properties, not just animation. He was the voice of the Joker in live action as well, in the Birds of Prey show.
Yeah.
Wasn't the physical body for the Joker, but he provided the voice.
Yeah.
So I'm going to count that as a live action role as well.
Yeah. Interesting. We think, obviously, Sorry. We so we think, obviously, new DCU, they're setting things up. Who do you think could play the Joker? Who do you think could do a good job?
Oh, I'm sure there are loads of people that could do a good job. Do you know, I saw someone do a fan casting with, what's his name? Will Poulter, is that his name? He was Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. And I could see it. I think possibly I could see it because he looks a bit like the guy that was the Joker in Gotham, whose name is escaping me at the moment.
Yeah.
But I thought, you know what, actually he probably could do it. Yeah, he could do it.
All right, so obviously there's this sort of debate about, the who's you think is the best sort of live action Joker. Is it Heath Ledger? Is it Joaquin Phoenix? Is it... I always feel like those debates are kind of pointless because I feel like each of them brought something different to the lore, They brought different interpretation, different take. Who do you think, do you think that, like, who do you think was the best out of those sort of 4 or 5 that portrayed him in live action?
Well, I'll always have a soft spot for Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
But I think Heath Ledger was probably the better one.
Yeah.
I can say it definitely wasn't Jared Leto.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking with that. It's so funny because, like, when he got cast, it's like, oh my god, they got it. Oh my god, he's so perfect for this. And then the movie comes out, it's like, what are they doing? Like, it's funny to me. Like, that's why, like, I don't trust fans on this stuff, man. Because they look at aesthetics instead of capability, you know? Like, I think, here's a hot take I have about somebody who I think would kill it, right? If they're ever going to do a female Joker or that type of character, I think... Have you watched Stranger Things?
Yes.
Okay. So, 11, as being played by, obviously, Millie Bobby. I think Millie Bobby Brown would kill it as the Joker. I really think, like, if you do like a 70s version of the Joker, someone who's flamboyant, who's theatrical, but someone who's a gangster, you know? The people forget, like, Joker could, like, again, he knows, he's very street smart. Like, that's the thing... that's an aspect of the character I don't think is being emphasized enough. It's always, he's this tortured soul, he's misunderstood. No, he's just a bad person. Like, and that's the thing, like, this whole, like, you have to sympathize. You don't have to sympathize with any of these people. You could be entertained, you could be enthralled, you could be interested, but, like, it's like, if you're trying to make them sympathetic, you're kind of losing the point of the character. Chaos is not sympathy, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. There is a place for a sympathetic Joker, as we saw in the Joker movie, but obviously that wasn't like, how can I phrase this? He wasn't like the Joker.
Yeah.
He was a Joker.
Yeah.
But, you know, I didn't mind Folie à Deux either. I got what, I've forgotten, Todd Phillips, that was the director's name, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I got what he was going for.
Yeah.
I would have preferred it if it was different, but I didn't hate it. I know a lot of people really didn't like it, but, you know, I'm not unhappy that it exists.
Okay. I think off the top, you often forget that, you know, like, directors will often look at something like the Joker, and they often would sort of they would, like, they would like try to put themselves in the Joker's shoes and say, you know, he wouldn't do this, he wouldn't do that. I'm like, Joker's going to do that anyways. I think, you know, that's why I really think his characterization in the animated series, to me, is the most complete. Because, again, right, there is the theatrical side, there is obviously the comedian side, there's the chaotic side, but there is the very, very evil side. There's the nihilistic side to him. He's a very interesting character because there's a lot of evil and different variations of evil. Like, to me, he's the very manifestation of our worst fears as a person, right? So making him sympathetic is kind of like, you're kind of losing the point here. Like, he's not supposed to be sympathetic, right? Like, why do you think there was this sort of uptick of that type of interpretation of character?
Yeah, I mean, I think that sometimes people can be uncomfortable liking people, or characters, I should say, that are just inherently bad, and they want to see the best in them, and they want to provide an explanation for why they are the way they are.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't really feel that way. There are some characters and shows that are just, like, inherently awful, and I don't really care what their backstory is. I just kind of enjoy watching them, you know?
Yeah. Interesting. Obviously, you know, so when you're watching the show, right, did you sort of understood that what you're watching might be the best version of that character you've ever seen, or was it after the show ended? And then you realize, okay, there isn't going to be one better than this.
I think that on some level, while I was watching it, I understood that this was exceptional because it stuck with me.
Yeah.
Now, you think about how many shows we watched as kids, and how many of them, like, actually hold up.
Yeah.
How many of them do you even actually remember? I'm sure I've watched, like, thousands of cartoons, and I can't even remember most of them.
Yeah.
And I certainly, if I went back to watch them. So, for instance, I used to love He-Man and Thundercats and Musk, Musk Crusaders, those guys. Going back and watching those shows, they don't hold up. They do not hold up at all.
Yeah.
They're kind of slow and plodding and tedious. The animation's not very good. The voice acting is really traditional cartoon acting. That's me being polite about it. But if you go back and watch Batman, these are little mini movies.
Yeah.
They're full on proper drama with subtext.
Yeah.
And the performances are very I don't want to say reserved, but they don't go over the top.
Yeah.
It's just great.
Yeah.
It's great.
Interesting. It's funny. The reason why I mentioned Stranger Things was that's probably my generation's version of the Batman animated series. Weirdly enough, even though they're two completely different things, but it gives me the same feeling. I'm watching something that's probably not going to be replicated in the future. Obviously, there's going to be shows that might have better writing or better atmosphere or even better acting. But, they make the world feel so lived in. And they make it feel real. And I think that's the sort of thing that I think showrunners kind of forget. Is that your world has to feel like you could, actually see yourself in that world. And I want to also say that that's probably one of the reasons why I love, have you watched Tron Legacy?
I haven't, no.
Okay. If you haven't watched that, Tron, you must have watched the original, right? Or did you?
I'm sure I have at some point. I remember it being on, but I cannot remember a single thing about it.
Okay. Tron Legacy is my favorite movie of all time. And I think one of the reasons why it is because the world just feels it's fantasy come to life. I could see myself having a joyride through that. And sure, is it realistic? No, it's not. But it doesn't have to be realistic. I think there's always room for, again, the fantasy aspects of it to sort of be the substance of what sort of you're making in the content. And I think that, the reason why I mentioned Millie Bobby Brown's name, because, for some reason, right, it's funny because, internet hate is always, it's always kind of, subjective. But for me, for some reason, I feel like they have it out for her. For whatever reason. She hasn't done anything. She hasn't said anything that was too crazy, And there's things she said I don't really agree with. But, besides that, those surface level things, it's anytime that she's mentioned in an article or she's mentioned in something outside of the Stranger Things fan base, it's just constant hate. Why do you think that is the case? Why do you think people are like that with people in general?
Oh, boy, it's a very complicated issue, but I think that there's a certain instinct within people, maybe not everybody, but maybe to varying degrees, but when you see someone who is successful and happy, the instinct is to try and drag them down. Some people seem to think that if you insult or tear down another person, it's the same thing as elevating yourself. Well, actually, it's not. All you're doing is dragging the other person down to your level.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. It sort of segues into my next question is, how do you sort of deal with, criticism of your content from maybe your contemporaries or people in the comments? Because you mentioned most of your comments are positive, but there's the 5-10% that kind of you think about those more than the positive ones.
Yeah, it's true. I don't mind people disagreeing. I should clarify that. I don't mind if someone says, well, actually, my experience is this, this, and this. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. What I don't really tolerate, though, is when it kind of verges into hate speech and just slurs and racism, etc. Something I should say about myself is I grew up watching X-Men. Right? I read the X-Men comics and the Batman comics. They were my thing when I was growing up. And, they still are my thing. So I very much took that message from X-Men and everyone is different.
Yeah.
And everyone has just as much right to exist as anyone else. Just because you accept that someone that is different to you exists doesn't mean that, you are the same as them, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the approach I've taken through my whole life. I'm always very supportive of people that aren't like me.
Yeah.
I understand my privilege as a heterosexual, white Anglo-Saxon. I can pretty much go anywhere and do anything I want, and people generally won't question me.
Yeah.
Whereas someone that is, let's say, not white, for instance, there are some places they can't go without being scrutinized because people just assume they're a thief or whatever.
Yeah.
So when I talk about for instance, I've got a video about Lockup.
Yeah.
The Batman the Animated Series villain who is presented as like a far-right version of Batman.
Yeah.
No compassion. He criticizes the liberal, permissive media, as he says it, and says that people should be locked up and throw away the key. He wants to make Gotham safe again.
Yeah.
Echoing Richard Nixon's "Make America Great Again," which Trump has since pinched.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was Ronald Reagan, not Richard Nixon. Excuse me.
Yeah.
But, when people of that mindset come in and watch that video and they go, "How dare you, there's no politics in Batman," I'm just like, oh my God, you are a moron. You are an absolute moron.
Yeah.
I'm wasting my life reading your nonsense.
Yeah.
So I just mute them.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I think when people say, like, that when people talk about there should be no politics and entertainment, I'm like, you're kind of misunderstanding the point of life. Life is politics,
Yeah,
like, we deal with politics all the time, all day. Just because it's not Democratic versus Republican does not mean it's not politics. We deal with family politics, locker room politics, work politics. Even you standing in line for coffee, there's going to be politics with that. Maybe the cashier is having a conversation with the customer. Maybe you don't get what you want. Maybe for what it's all really the same variation of the same thing. And I really think that that's one of the biggest reasons why the discourse around a lot of things are so warped, because people are not willing to have that conversation with themselves that maybe I was wrong. Maybe I have to, again, fix something inside of me instead of, again, lashing out and blaming the whole world of my own failures. And that's the thing. People love to project how they feel about themselves onto other people. I look at, you probably not see, but there's a lot of, like, this weird, like, Pedro Pascal hate out of nowhere, too. Like, there was a time people liked them, people loved them, Mandalorian, even the Wonder Woman movie he was in. They really loved him during that time. But now, all of a sudden, just because he's appearing in a lot of movies, then people's like, man, there has to be something wrong with him. He has to be this, he has to be that. It's so weird till you realize that a lot of these people didn't live up to what they could have been, and they're lashing out on someone who made it. That's how I feel.
Yeah, and he's been quite outspoken in his support of marginalised people as well, which makes him a target from, people that are not supportive of marginalised groups, because it makes them feel bad about their own bigotry and intolerance. Yeah.
It's interesting, it's interesting you mentioned that, because it feels like a lot of the far-right content creators are from the UK. Like, do you find that weird? Like, why do you think that's such a thing over there? Like, why?
So there are a lot of people that are very disenchanted with life in the UK. I mentioned earlier about property prices being too high, and you can't really... it's very difficult to afford a house, right?
Yeah.
We had nearly 15 years of a right-wing government in the UK, and they very intentionally starved the public services of money, because their aim was to sell them off and privatise them to private companies and make themselves a tidy profit. So what ended up... the impact of that was that people couldn't get doctor's appointments, that there weren't police around to help them with... the crimes that are going on.
Yeah.
Fewer firemen, that kind of stuff. So basically life, in a broad generalisation, could be quite hellish at times. Yeah. But rather than blaming the politicians who controlled the budget and chose not to fund these things, instead they point the finger at anyone that isn't like them. because they can't possibly be to blame, even though they voted for these people and continue to vote for them. It's got to be, people coming over in small boats who simultaneously are taking all the jobs and taking all of the unemployment money, apparently.
Yeah.
Or there's a thing going on right now in Epping where there's a hotel where a lot of migrants have been placed while they're being sorted and we're determining whether they're allowed to stay or not.
Yeah.
One of the refugees there, I think he was from Somalia, I could be mistaken though.
Yeah.
Apparently he had kissed a 14-year-old girl. And there's a lot of like moral outrage from the parents and, other people that feel very strongly about child abuse, quite rightly to feel that way. Protesting outside of the migrant hotel saying get rid of all of them. And I think it's very unfair to tarnish all of those people with the same brush as one person that has misbehaved. But I would ask those people that are protesting, where are they whenever there's a scandal about the Church of England or the Catholic Church abusing children on almost like an industrial scale? Yeah. Why are they not protesting outside of the churches? Why are they not trying to shut them down?
Yeah.
Why is it they're targeting just hotels with like some of the weakest and most vulnerable people in society in it? Why do they feel that is acceptable?
Yeah. It's so interesting because I feel like, again, like there's this channel. I heard of this. I heard of History Debunked.
I don't know off the top of my head.
So he uses some far right history channel. Like a lot of his history findings are bullshit. It's revisionist history, a lot of revisionism. For some reason, he loves Enoch Powell. Like I don't know why people love Enoch Powell over there. Like I don't know why.
Oh, what a loser! Enoch Powell was a loser. Jesus Christ.
They're acting like, they act like this guy was going to be like this great leader. I'm like, just because he's made one speech does not mean anything. Like, it's like, and he was wrong too. That's the thing too. Like rivers of blood. I'm like, I don't see no blood.
Nope.
Like, why do people love him over it? It doesn't make any sense.
I think most people don't. It's just a vocal minority. Like, there's a political group over here called Reform UK, which used to be UKIP, which used to be, God, what did they used to be called before that? Basically, it's like a far right party, I'd say, that are very much like upset about the state of the country, and they basically blame everything on people that aren't white. Basically. Yeah. They're the ones that keep saying, we should shoot down the boats that have got the people smugglers on and let them drown in the channel. Just like, an awful thing to say. Why do you think that is acceptable? Anyway, they are they had some success in some recent like council elections.
Yeah.
And all the newspapers were just going on and on and on about them. But actually, if you look at their actual like representation within the the voting populace, it's like 10% of people are voting for them. Like 90% of people reject this. It's just 10% of them are very loud.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because like I feel like, I look at someone like, I feel like because both of them are the same. I look at somebody like Nigel Farage and Sargon of Akkad. I don't know if you heard of him or not, but they both represent the issue that I find in just sort of people in general, that they don't really care about what they're saying. It's all about the money. And they're really, to me, they're probably the worst type of people because they grifted for so long that they essentially have stole a living off of whining about something that doesn't affect them. You really think about it. Like, Nigel Farage is a pretty well-off guy. But he keeps talking about the same thing over and over and over again. And it's like, the very fact that he was a politician in and of itself is a massive problem. Because he's a cave troll. That's what he is. Right?
Yeah. He, during the Brexit campaign, he very publicly supported the fishermen of Folkestone. So Folkestone is a town in Kent. I'm from Kent, so I know all about that. And these fishermen have genuinely struggled under the rules and regulations of the EU because they're basically prevented from overfishing to ensure that we can keep the supply of fish for centuries to come, and we don't just like make them extinct.
Yeah.
The problem is the limited amount that they are allowed to catch isn't really enough to make a living on. So Farage campaigned with them and said, the minute we're out of the EU, I'm going to lift those caps and you'll be able to catch as much as you want. Everyone's going to be rich. The second Brexit passed, he backpedaled on that and said, oh yeah, there's nothing we can do because if you overfish, all the fish are going to die, lol. Bye. And he just left them high and dry. And, those fishing communities are still screwed.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing that people should be talking about when Nigel Farage comes up in conversation. Not that 10% of people think he's a down-to-earth cool guy who just says it how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing, too. It's like when people say, you don't understand. He's just like, I say, he's not like you guys. He's in a different... It's kind of like, again, a lot of it is aristocracy. A lot of it is, again, a lot of that sort of monarchy mentality where, like, it's like, I'm above you, therefore I should have everything that you don't have. That type of mentality, which I hate. That's why, like, I'm kind of glad that people are turning against the monarchy, the kind of spiritual king and queen and prince of situation in the UK. I'm glad people are turning against it because it was just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, look, I'm not saying they didn't impact the world positive way, like they did, but they had their time in the sun. Honestly, that whole thing should have been deinstitutionalized when Princess Diana died, but it just kept going, and that was just nostalgia bait.
Yeah, personally, I'd be in favour of phasing it out. Like, okay, so what's his name? William's been promised this his whole life. All right, let him do it. But after him, that's it. Cut it off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be my approach anyway. I'm not one of those like anti-monarchists that says they should all be beheaded. Despite what some people say in my comments, that's another funny thing that comes up from time to time.
Yeah, interesting. It's funny because, like, I don't know why. I don't know. I've been thinking about a lot of sort of the side characters that really sort of made the show shine in the Batman animated series. And obviously, people are going to mention the Joker because it's the easy thing to say. To me, I think later on, I honestly think one of the biggest sort of reason why the show is still so relevant is because of Harley Quinn. Like it to me, what like Bruce Timm and Paul Dini did with her, like, it is genius level. Like, they literally, because they were trying to find a character they just put in one episode and that's it, right? We see that all the time. There's characters just appear in one episode, and we often wonder, man, it could have been in this episode. There should have been the main character. And seeing her evolution from a henchman to sort of like an anti-hero sort of representation of the sort of, again, of the female spirit. Because that's what it really is, when it really comes down to it. It's really, really interesting. Like, there's one video that you did about Harley Quinn I really like. I think it was about Mad Love. Mm-hmm. I really like that one. Was that a video that you always wanted to do, or was that something that sort of came up in the moment?
I tend to plan my videos out about 6 months in advance. Wow. So I had penciled that in. When did I do that? It would have been around Christmas last year that I was just like, all right, we'll do something about Harley Quinn, probably Mad Love, about 6 months from now. I have a little spreadsheet and everything, and I mark stuff off when I've done it. But it's kind of fluid. I move things around as the whims take me. And, I look at how other videos have performed. I pay a lot of attention to my analytics. And if I find that, one topic isn't engaging the audience, then I might just, not do the follow-up, or maybe just bump it by a couple of months and then try again, see if it does any better. But that Harley Quinn video, I actually put it in because my wife had said, you haven't really done very much about Harley Quinn. You should do something about her. I'm like, yeah, actually, that's a fair point. She's very significant in that show. So yeah.
Wow, that's interesting. What do you think is the future of the channel? Do you see yourself making videos like this, or do you think you're gonna have to like eventually sort of branch out to sort of maybe other topics or other shows or other mediums?
I think that I've got a good 2 or 3 years left in me because, I could move on to what's it called, Batman the Brave and the Bold, maybe Teen Titans, push Young Justice, and then there's always going to be new shows coming out. There's another season of Cape Crusader coming out. Some nebulous point in the future. Could be soon, probably won't be, but probably next year. And I'll be able to talk about that then as well. And, when people say to me, someone said to me recently, now that you're finishing up on Superman the Animated Series, you should talk about my adventures with Superman. I was like, I've barely touched Superman the Animated Series. I've done a couple, maybe like 15 videos about characters in there, and I've talked about 2 episodes. There's like 60 episodes of that show. There's loads more to talk about.
Interesting. So, did you think that? I mean, you have like a very dedicated following on YouTube, and your videos often do really well. Like you're averaging 20K, 30K a video, where guys can't even get 100 views on their videos. Do you sometimes sort of kind of take it for granted? Like, I could just put anything out and it'll just get views, or do you have to, like, think about it?
Yeah, I do take it for granted. So I put out a video about Ace last night, of time of recording, and YouTube does this thing where it kind of rates your videos in order of, like, most views in the last 10 uploads, and it came 8th out of my recent 10. And I was really disappointed. But, it's had nearly... Well, I'm going to look now to see how many views it's had. How many views has it had? It has had about 17,000 views, which is much more than most people get. So I shouldn't be disappointed with that. I shouldn't be disappointed with it at all. But I must admit I am a little bit.
Interesting.
But you're right. I need to, like, step back and just have a bigger perspective on this. 17,000 people chose to watch that. That should be something to be very proud of.
Yeah. How can I say this? So, I thought about maybe doing like a second channel that sort of talks about live action and speculation and stuff like that about DC.
Oh, I've actually got a second channel where I talk about the Absolute line of comics.
Yeah.
At the moment, and that's doing. I mean, it doesn't do as well as my animated stuff, but I've only been doing it for like 5 months, something like that. Okay. I still get like 5,000 views on some of those videos, 10,000 even.
Yeah.
And they don't take anywhere near as long to make. I can make one of those in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I suppose I could talk about live action stuff, maybe. The thing is, with the live action shows, the way that they currently stand, they're very infrequent, right? Like the movies, I should say. There's I guess they're trying to do 2 movies a year and 1 animated series.
Yeah.
So they've done Superman for this year. I don't know that there's another Superman. Another.
There's Peacemaker.
Yeah, there's a TV series. Does that count as a movie?
No, it doesn't.
I didn't think so. I was just double checking to make sure my understanding was correct. So there's Peacemaker, and then next year there's Supergirl, and there's Clayface, and Mr. Miracle. Yeah. Now I'm very excited about Mr. Miracle because growing up this is a massive tangent, and I apologise. I do this all the time.
It's all good.
So growing up, I'm a big comic book reader, but I didn't like Jack Kirby's art. I thought it was too square. The faces all looked the same. And I just thought it was just kind of weird. But in like the last sort of 2-3 years, I've really grown to appreciate that almost like there's a poetry to Jack Kirby's writing. It's like the dialogue it doesn't sound natural, but it sounds lyrical.
Yeah.
There's a panel that just sticks with me from an issue of Mr. Miracle where like this all-seeing, all-knowing enemy calls Mr. Miracle at his home, and he's like, "Oh, how did you get this number?" He goes, "I know everything, Scot-free. Your number is known to me." And that's just it's such a weird way of saying, yeah, I know everything. I know your phone number. But it's just there's a beauty to it I've really grown to appreciate. So I've been reading a lot of Jack Kirby stuff recently. So Mr. Miracle, right up my street.
Wow. Interesting. Who was, I know you have a wife right now, but who was your celebrity crush growing up?
Ooh, good question. Do you know, I don't think I did. I could acknowledge that, you know, like Kim Basinger. How'd you say her surname? Basinger, right?
Yeah, shout out to her.
Yeah, Kim Basinger, Michelle Pfeiffer, Uma Thurman, Nicole Kidman. I'm just thinking of actresses that are in Batman movies. I could go, yeah, they're attractive, but I never, like... Maybe I was just, like, too, like, realistic going, I've got no chance with them. Don't even think about
them. Matt, for me, it's like, it's so funny because it's like, it's phases, right? Where, like, when I was younger, like, I was, like, obsessed with, like, Lana Del Rey. Have you heard of Lana Del Rey?
I do know Lana Del Rey, yes. Okay.
Like, especially back then, like, I'll never forget, like, I came across one of her remixes of her songs was playing on the radio, and I searched her up, and I was just like, whoa. I was literally just like, it was like, again, it was like, literally, I was sucked into that whole aesthetic and old school world, and it was just, I was dreaming about her every single day. It was crazy. Like, I may not look at a single photo, or I'm not even listening to a single second of her song, but I was just constantly, it was crazy, and then it sort of kind of like, it kind of just transitioned from a lot of other things. I think somebody right now that, like for example, like I have a huge crush on like Millie Bobby Brown, you know, Haley Steinfeld, Billie Eilish. I would say probably Emilia Clarke back in the day. Like, she was so good looking, bro. Especially in Game of Thrones. Kate Beckinsale, shout out to her. That was one I always liked. But yeah, it's interesting because it's like, you know, there's just certain people that, like, they just stick in your mind. Like, you look at them, and it's like instantly your mind just like your mind thinks that there's something there, right? And it goes for the same thing for shows, movies, music, books. It's like we always like are looking for this thing something that sticks in our mind, and we sometimes try to force it. For me, I try to not force it. Like, it's very easy to just look at a bunch of images and you just think, okay, is this going to stick in my mind? But it doesn't really work that way. So, yeah.
Yeah, very human.
Yeah. Do you have, like, do you have a cartoon crush or comic crush?
Oh, no. All
right.
And I always find it really, so early in my YouTube career, there was like a small group of people that absolutely love Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Right. Anytime I did a video, they're like, why didn't you do something about Poison Ivy? Why don't you do a video about the sexiest scenes with Poison Ivy? Why don't you do this about Poison Ivy? Why don't you do that about Poison Ivy? I'm just like, because I don't think she's that interesting. I'm sorry.
Okay. It's
for them. It was kind of tied to their sexual awakening, you know. So it's like,
yeah.
And I don't mean this in like a rude way, but I do feel sorry for them because it's, you know, to have that side of yourself activated by a cartoon, you're not going to be able to be satisfied in real life.
Damn. Yeah, I agree. Like, that's why, like, you know, it's like, that's why, like, you know, I always say, like, it's better just to go outside and interact with the world, you know, like, interact with people.
Well, yeah, I think that's actually the answer to most of the problems in life, isn't it? Like we were discussing earlier about, you know, right-wing people getting upset about stuff. They get upset about stuff that they don't actually necessarily know about. And if they actually went out and met people from different backgrounds and spoke to them and engaged with them on like a serious level and a non-dismissive way,
yeah,
they might find themselves feeling differently. And same with people that are perhaps too interested in female cartoon characters. You know, spend some time with some real ladies.
But yeah, the thing is, I understand, like, because, like, when you're younger, like, you don't really understand the world in a way. So,
yeah.
It's, right? So, like, for me, like, you know, I would usually, like, for example, like, I used to be terrified of horror movies. Like, are you into horror movies?
I don't dislike horror movies.
Okay, but you're not you're not an active fan of it, right? So, like, I used to be scared shitless when a horror trailer, a Paranormal Activity, or The Human Centipede, or Scream, or whatever. Like, I didn't want to watch that. Like, so I didn't want to see that, you know. Yeah. And when I got older, I started getting more. When I got more and more interested in movies and just overall entertainment, I'm like, horror is something like I always just been afraid. Like, why am I afraid of this? And I'm like, okay, let me try something. So this was, I think it was in middle school or high school. Like, we used to have a library in our schools, and you could you could borrow headphones, and you could spend like an hour of your lunchtime in the library, right? If you had work to do, whatever. Granted, for me, I didn't really have any work to do, so I just go on my computer and I'll listen to whatever I'm listening to. It's Daft Punk or it's Kanye before he went off the rails or whatever. And I would look at these images and I'm like, okay, why is this image? Why is it scaring me so much? And I start realizing it's not scary in the sense of like I sort of disarm it. So if I start associating with music that I like, then I can think about those images and not get scared. And I start doing of other things too, and it also worked as well. So like, it's for me, it's a perspective type of thing, right? So
yeah, that's a little bit of cognitive behavioral therapy there.
Yeah,
you're rewiring your brain.
Yeah, I think that, like, obviously on the topic of just like people being obsessed with fictional characters and all that stuff. I like, for me, like, I was like, for example, I have a couple, but I'm not like actively I'm not actively wishing that they were real, that type of thing. And I think those people are kind of like, they need help, they need therapy type of thing, like.
Well, there'll always be some, right?
Yeah, and I'll never forget. I'll tell you a story. So this was like 2017. I think it was for a week, 2017, because Suicide Squad dropped the year before. Right? And for some reason, I want to watch that movie. For some reason, it was DC. Like, I want to watch it. It's like, I saw the reviews, like, okay, I don't want to watch it. But I understand that version of Harley Quinn is not really that great. But I'll never forget when I saw Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, and, like, there was, like a photo of her. I'm like, whoa. Like, because I didn't know about the character, right? And it's like, that's why I always have a soft spot of her version of the character, because that's what it takes me back to that, right? Granted, do I wish that, she wears, like, the costume she wears in every series? Absolutely, that would be amazing. But, like, I think, there is always room for a different interpretation of a character. I think, it would be a disservice for somebody to just be only one version and one version only. Like, there should be room for different perspectives, different voices.
Absolutely.
But we shouldn't lose the essence of the character. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, if we were like really like absolutists about, let's say, superheroes, right?
Yeah.
Superman would never have flown. Superman would still have the triangle on his chest with the black background and just a crudely drawn S. He'd still be like intimidating politicians and landlords and drug dealers, etc., and going, stop ruining people's lives or I'm going to punch you really hard. Yeah. That would basically be all Superman did.
Yeah.
For going off to fight at war, punching tanks. Batman would still have the purple gloves and he would shoot people. This is one of the things that kind of annoys me a little bit particularly when I go out of my way to make videos where I explain how things have changed over the years, and why they have changed, and how just because it's different doesn't mean it's invalid. You then have someone poke their head in and go, they should never stray from the comic book source material. They must slavishly adapt it. I'm like, well, which ones? Because the comics have changed a lot over the years as well. Which ones are you talking about? Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Anyway, I need to get off my high horse.
Yeah, it's okay, bro. It's okay. I mean, when you saw Harley for first time being adapted in live action, what was your first reaction? Did you think, man, they're not like? What was your thoughts on it? This sort of her evolution, because she appeared in like 3 movies: Suicide Squad, Birds of Prey, and obviously The Suicide Squad. What I think is one of the best superhero movies of the last couple of years, in my humble opinion.
This might be controversial, but I really like Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad was okay. When I saw her costume and how skimpy it was, I was like, well, I get why they're doing that, but, when you look back at Harley Quinn, she always wore, like, a full bodysuit, right?
Yeah.
But then again, if you think about in Harley's Holiday, when she gets out of Arkham, she's got, like, a belly exposed with a shirt that's very short and little shorts and roller skates. So, I guess there's what's the word I'm looking for? There's precedent there, I suppose, so it's not inauthentic. I just feel like it was very much a design choice made to, please the male audience.
Male gaze. Male gaze.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, that's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So obviously, do you who do you think is the best version of Harley Quinn? Best iteration?
Oh, it's always going to be Arleen Sorkin. She was the original. She defined it. I'll tell you something funny. A lot of the stories involving Harley Quinn were kind of inspired by things that Arleen Sorkin had said or experienced. Wow. So, for instance, in that episode, Harley's Holiday, where she goes to buy a dress from a shop after she's rehabilitated.
Yeah.
She takes the dress after she's paid for it before they can get the security tag off, and the alarm goes off and the guard comes up, and her whole life falls apart because she thinks she's being arrested when all he's trying to do is just get the tag off. Something very similar happened to Arleen Sorkin and her friend.
Yeah.
But obviously she didn't go into like a complete meltdown. She just described it as a very funny situation where she thought she was going to be arrested for shoplifting when she had paid for something. And then she told it to Paul Dini, and he was like, I wonder how Harley Quinn would act in that situation. Yeah. Oh, she'd do this, this, and this.
Yeah.
The song Say That We're Sweethearts Again that she sings in Harlequinade, that was a song that Arleen Sorkin was singing for an audition, and Paul Dini gave her a lift to work.
Wow.
And she was like, here, listen to this song that I've been practicing.
Yeah.
And he thought, oh my God, that's a perfect song for Harley's relationship with the Joker. I've got to write that in somewhere.
Yeah.
So Arleen Sorkin basically was Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Obviously not as dramatic and as murderous, let's put it that way. But she was the character. So ultimately she's the definitive one.
Yeah.
In my mind, anyway.
Interesting. Would you be okay, obviously, with James Gunn's DCU, they're bringing some people over, they brought Peacemaker over, they're saying Bloodshot, Bloodsport, whatever, Idris Elba's character, he's going to be in there. Would you be okay if they brought over Margot Robbie's version of Harley Quinn? Do you think they just recast it, that's not trying to make it confusing for the audiences?
I mean, I think it would be okay to bring her over, but if they recast her, I wouldn't mind either.
Okay, that would be my...
I'm very open to this stuff.
The sort of segue to my second question. Who do you think can play her then? If they're going to go a different route, make it maybe she's got to wear that jumpsuit or whatever. Who do you think could play that character and do a good job?
I'm really bad at fan casting things because I'm so out of date with movies.
Yeah.
And who the stars are. What's her name? The star of Queen's Gambit on Netflix. What is her name?
Taylor-Joy?
Yeah, I think she could probably pull it off.
That would be cool. That would be interesting. I think this might be a little crazy. I think if somebody, I really think, what's her name? I really think somebody play that character. What's her name? God, I can't believe blanking here. I really think someone like Sophie Thatcher from Yellow Jackets. I think she would kill it.
Okay.
She would kill that role. My God's got it on the nose too, but she would do a pretty good job. I would actually go with someone who looks like Harley Quinn actually in real life. Mm-hmm. That actually looks like when she's not in that makeup in the comics. I would go with that because I feel the expectations are always so high. You get somebody high caliber, so it kind of that's why I always kind of people gotta say, man, they gotta get these people, they gotta get these famous people, they gotta put butts in seats. No, I would rather have a good movie, I this whole obsession over we need a new movie star. It's so stupid because we should talk about the movie or the director or the writer. Those are guys that make the foundation of great content and art in general, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So, what is your go-to restaurant in the UK that you like going to?
Do you know, there used to be a Batman-themed restaurant in London called
Yeah.
Park Row that was like this fine dining place.
Yeah.
I used to go there once a month, to the point that all the staff knew my name and they put me on the friends and family list, so I got like 20% off.
Wow.
Unfortunately, it was like right by Piccadilly Circus, so the rent was super high. It lasted about 2 years and they couldn't afford it anymore, so they had to shut down. But that would be my answer.
Damn. Are you like a big fish and chips guy? I know that's a little bit on the nose, but...
Not so much fish, no. No, not really a big fan of fish. I grew up in a seaside town, and I can vividly remember the smell of the fish market at the end of the day on a Saturday, you know. That just really puts me off fish. Really put me off it.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Have you been on a trip outside of UK recently?
Not for a little while. When I last went abroad, it was to San Francisco,
Okay.
I think. Yes, it might have been San Diego.
Okay.
Anyway, it was California. It was one of those two locations.
Okay.
I can't remember which was the last one I went to.
Okay. What is your favorite Batman comic?
Single issue or storyline?
It could be both.
Okay. I will say it's tough. So my favourite series is Gotham Central.
Yeah.
So it's very tough for me to choose just one storyline from there that I think
Yeah.
is the best one. I like the one with the Half a Life. I'll go with Half a Life.
Yeah.
The Renee Montoya and Two-Face
Yeah.
storyline. That was really good.
Yeah. Interesting. Do you play video games?
Not as much as I used to.
Okay. So you must play the Arkham series then.
I have, yeah.
Did you enjoy it?
Yes, I did. I'll tell you a funny little story. When Arkham City came out, I booked the day off work and I sat down and played through it in one sitting.
Wow. Interesting. It's been interesting you mentioned that you had a job, because I assume that was YouTube ever like your full-time job, or?
No, never. It's still just like a part-time hobby for me.
Okay. You don't have to answer this question, but can you sort of kind of tell me what you do in work, or?
Okay. I am an online safety manager.
Wow. We definitely need those, bro. We definitely need those.
Yeah, keeps me going.
Yeah. Who's the most famous person that said, "I love your work" on YouTube?
Kevin Smith.
What?
Yeah, I did a video about onomatopoeia and he thanked me for it.
How? Did he comment or like?
Yeah, he commented on it.
Wow. Who's the most famous person that you have contact so you can just hit him up at any time, you can call?
Well, I don't think there's... Well, I suppose the closest thing to that would probably be the director Dan Reber, who did a lot of Batman and Justice League and Batman Beyond. I can't, call him up whenever I want, but I can send him a message and he usually responds fairly quickly.
That's crazy. How did that even come about?
So, I'll see how that came about. So, when Batman Mask of the Phantasm was released on 4K Blu-ray to markets, 30th anniversary, I think it was, and I saw it didn't have a director's commentary, I got really pissed off about that. I was like, this is the perfect opportunity, bring everybody back, sit down, talk about why this film's great. They didn't do it.
Yeah.
So I thought, F this, I'll do it myself. So I contacted as many people as I could that worked on Mask of the Phantasm to see if they wanted to come on a Zoom call and we'd watch the film together and do a commentary track.
Damn.
Dan Reber, Kevin Altieri, and Brad Rader all came.
Wow.
And I talk to them all quite frequently. I feel super privileged to be able to call them my friends, particularly Dan, because Dan is so supportive and he's so kind. And he's just got an encyclopedia of knowledge. And occasionally you'll see him come in on one of my videos and say, yes, everything you're saying is correct.
Do you sometimes do you sometimes think like, okay, I could like have him on my video, or like he could come in and like say his perspective on certain things? Have you thought about doing something like that?
Well, I kind of did that a little bit with these commentary tracks we did for episodes, but the problem is nobody watched them.
Yeah.
And I don't want to monopolise their time either, because it's going to take them time to do it as well. And they're already so generous. If I've got a question, I can ask them and they will answer it fairly quickly.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel like I'm taking advantage of them, and I don't want to annoy them either. And they always say, no, it's not annoying at all. We're always glad to hear from you. But there's always part of me that's like, don't bug them. Do not bug them. Don't ruin this.
Yeah. That's a fair attitude to have. That really is a fair attitude. That's crazy though. Man, shout out to them, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I saw that. I went on your Instagram. You got a poster of Harley Quinn's Mad Love. That was cool. That was cool. Have you ever? Okay, this might be a little bit of an interesting question. Have you ever saw someone or met someone that kind of looked like one of the characters in Batman?
Not like. I mean, I've seen cosplayers, but not like an actual person. No.
Okay. Like a doppelganger, like someone. Okay, this person looks like.
Well. I met Kevin Conroy at a convention once. Okay. Does that count? No, that's really him.
Yeah. Interesting. How was Kevin Conroy? You said you met him, but how was he? Like, I can't imagine me someone like that.
He was very nice. He was very attentive. I'll tell you what's funny, though, is that he was more interested in talking to my wife than me. Because she had like a Wonder Woman dress on, and when he saw her, he like lifted his hands up, went, "Hey, come here!" and he gave her the biggest hug, and huge smile on his face. Kept his arm around her while he was talking to her. And I'm like, "What am I, chopped liver?"
That's crazy.
No, it's really nice. It's a great memory that we.
That's crazy. Have you met Arleen Sorkin?
No, she had stopped going to conventions years ago because she'd been unwell.
Oh yeah. Rest in peace.
The only other Batman the Animated Series person I've met is Ron Perlman.
Yeah. Interesting. Have you thought about like doing like a personal video about yourself?
I don't think they care, frankly, like the average viewer. I don't think they care about me at all. When I have done stuff that's been like not about a specific character, hardly anybody watches.
Okay.
And something I've noticed, so YouTube's algorithm is kind of flawed in a way, because if you've got a subscriber, and you put out a video and that subscriber chooses not to watch it, that sends a signal to YouTube that people that aren't subscribed probably aren't going to be interested in watching this video. And if that happens with enough videos, then it decides, informs the algorithm that they shouldn't be recommending your channel at all. So that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing the comic videos, because most people that subscribe to my channel don't want to hear about the comic books. They just want to hear about the cartoons. They can hear some of the comic book information, but they don't want videos exclusively about that. What I found was that when I was like trying to force them to watch it by putting out more comic videos, going, "Hey, watch this. This is interesting," they would skip over it, and then my overall views were dropping by like 10 to 20% per month.
Whoa.
The very second I removed those videos and did my own comics channel, the views reversed almost immediately. They went up by 20%. They've been going up by 10 to 20% a month since then.
Wow. That's interesting.
So I just stick to making what I think people are interested in. And I spend a lot of time looking at the analytics and looking at the search terms, what people are looking for in relation to my channel. So like one of the the top search terms was Serum Lake Season 2. And I have to assume they were looking for like Cape Crusader Season 2. But that one made me laugh. I was like, there's a Season 1?
It's funny. Wow. Interesting. Interesting. Have you thought about making like a comic yourself, like an inspired comic for the anime series type of thing?
What, like a Batman comic?
Yeah.
I've thought about it, but I don't really think I've got anything too interesting to say at this time.
Yeah.
I'm very much someone that is a patron of the arts rather than, an artist myself. I don't think of myself as an artist.
Okay.
I buy other people's artwork. I pay people to make stuff, like the person that did the music for my videos, the background music for my videos, Kat. I paid her money to do that.
Damn.
I've always toyed with the idea of getting into publishing, using the YouTube money to fund publishing of maybe books or comics. Could do that as well. Just so that that there's something creative coming out of all of this.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't think I'm quite there yet.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. What sort of what C level or D level character do you want to see emphasized more live action or cartoons or something like that in DC?
Ooh. It's a good question. Hitman. Garth Ennis' Hitman.
Yes, that would be cool.
They wouldn't even need to write scripts. They could just adapt the comics, and it would work fine.
Yes. For me, I don't know if you heard of this character. Have you heard of Pandora?
Yes.
You have?
A DC character, Pandora.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on her? I know she didn't have that much of a run, but I always thought she was really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that she existed. Was it a character that Jeff Johns wrote?
Yeah, he created a character.
Yeah,
during Flashpoint.
I'm not a big lover of Jeff Johns' stuff. His Green Lantern stuff's all right, but the problem is he gets a bit too nostalgic for the 70s. And I liked the fact that there was a sense of progression, particularly with Green Lantern and the Flash, where Hal Jordan and Barry Allen died, and that there were new replacements. I liked that sense of legacy, and he's just kind of nope, I want Hal Jordan back and I want Barry Allen back, and then that's kind of overshadowed characters like Kyle Rayner and even Wally West in the comics.
Yeah,
which I think is a shame.
Yeah.
Also, he seems to be obsessed with doing sequels to Alan Moore's work, like he did the Doomsday Clock, which was supposed to be a sequel to Watchmen, and then he did Three Jokers, which was supposed to be a sequel to Killing Joke. And I didn't really care for those very much, to be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been a bit of a mixed bag for me. There's this, he didn't write this comic, but there's this one comic. I read the Pandora comic series. To me, I really enjoyed it. I really think if there's a Star-Lord or that type of character that can blow up in the mainstream consciousness for DC, Pandora would be perfect. If you make a movie or a TV series about her, you could keep it low budget and people would be interested. I think she's kind of like John Wick, but with magic powers. To me, it's the coolest shit ever, and it's I'll be really cool. I love the design may not be super interesting, but just it's really cool, man. I really think if a Chad Stahelski or Joseph Kaczynski or even a Fincher could take that character and mold it, I really think people would love it, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Have you read the Batman the War of Jokes and Riddles?
Yes, yeah. I didn't like Tom King's Batman run very much. I like a lot of the other stuff Tom King's done, like his Mr. Miracle book was really good, and Human Target, and Danger Street, that was another really good one.
Yeah.
But his Batman was kind of hit and miss for me. I liked the two-part, I think it was a two-parter, where Bruce Wayne was on jury duty for Mr. Freeze.
That was
when
crazy.
Mr. Freeze was on trial.
Yeah.
I thought that one was good. The double date issue where Lois Lane and Clark Kent went on a date with Selena Kyle and Bruce Wayne, and they swapped costumes. Thought that was fun.
Yeah.
But like City of Bane, not really a fan of that, to be honest.
Okay. Interesting. There's one comic panel that I saw while I was reading that comic, the Jokes and Riddles comic, and it's Deathstroke and Deadshot just taking freaking pot shots at each other. And I thought it was the coolest shit ever. I ain't gonna lie, I would love to see that in live action. That story, I really think that would be perfect for the Batman Part 3 to end it off like that. Like, that would be insane. I would love to see that. And I trust Matt Reeves to take the best parts of those comics and incorporate it in his writing and his sort of world-class storytelling and making it engaging. Like, Tom King's, again, he's all like Jeff Johns. He's, again, like, I feel like he's stretching himself too thin. Like, there's just certain characters that, you can't really do a good job with for whatever reason. Like, and it doesn't help that it feels like he's writing every character now. Like, he wrote some Wonder Woman and Superman and Batman and this character and that character. I'm like, you're stretching yourself too thin, man.
Maybe. He's very active in the DCU stuff, isn't he? Like, he's one of the showrunners on Lanterns and Mr. Miracle.
Yeah.
So you never know, he might turn up for Brave and the Bold, if that ever comes out.
Yeah. Yeah, so we are heading towards the final stretch of the interview. And
okay, here we go.
And so what I always do recently, at least, is that I do this Q&A session, right? So, for example, have you heard of Drink Champs?
Have I ever what, sorry?
Have you heard of Drink Champs?
No, I don't think so.
They're like this hip-hop podcast, and they invite all these guests, the biggest guests you can think of, they get, and they ask them, essentially give them a choice between two artists, or two people, or two franchises, and you have to pick, right? And the difference here, we're not drinking, you can't say both, you can't say neither, and you want to give a reason why you picked that choice, or a story behind it, you're free to do so.
Okay.
Alright, okay. Batman or Superman?
Man.
Okay. Harley Quinn or Raven?
Harley Quinn.
Okay. Poison Ivy or Catwoman?
Ooh, Poison Ivy.
Okay. Jim Gordon or Alfred?
Alfred.
Okay. Christian Bale or Gary Oldman?
Gary Oldman.
Okay. Ana de Armas or Gal Gadot?
Oh, that's hard. The first one.
Okay. Tupac or Biggie?
I'm going to say Biggie.
Okay.
I like his deeper voice.
Alright, okay. Jay-Z or Nas?
This is a very impossible one for me, so I will just say Nas.
Okay. Kanye West or Kendrick Lamar?
It would be Kendrick Lamar because he's not a Nazi.
Okay. Drake or Lil Wayne?
Ooh. Little Wayne because he was in Static Shock.
Yeah. Okay. The Batman animated series or Teen Titans?
Man, the animated series.
Okay. Tim Burton or Ridley Scott?
Tim Burton.
Okay. Christopher Nolan or Stanley Kubrick?
Kubrick.
Okay. Al Pacino or Rob De Niro?
De Niro.
Okay. Margot Robbie or Nicole Kidman?
Margot Robbie.
Okay.
I feel like this is like you're building a psychological profile from all these questions. At the end of it, yep, you're a psycho.
Yeah. I like the. Okay. Clips or Mobb Deep?
Clips.
Okay. Pusha T or Mos Def?
Mos Def.
Okay. Beyonce or Prince?
Beyonce.
Okay, wow. Okay. Frank Sinatra or Michael Jackson?
Sinatra.
Okay. Linkin Park or Nirvana?
Nirvana.
Okay. Slipknot or System of a Down?
Slipknot.
Okay. Kurt Cobain or Freddie Mercury?
Freddie Mercury.
Okay. Joker or Darth Vader?
Joker.
Okay. Okay. Star Wars or Mission Impossible?
Ooh. Star Wars.
Okay. Okay. Megan Fox or Millie Bobby Brown?
I will say Megan Fox.
Okay. Okay. Michael Bay or Zack Snyder?
Zack Snyder.
Really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Alright. Man of Steel or Super 8?
Man of Steel.
Okay. J.J. Abrams or Ryan Johnson?
Ooh. Say Ryan Johnson.
Okay. Daniel Craig or Sean Connery?
Oh, Sean Connery.
Okay. Okay. James Bond or Star Trek?
Star Trek.
Okay. Superman or Spider-Man?
Superman.
Okay. Green Goblin or Doc Ock?
Ooh, that one's really hard. I'm going to say Green Goblin.
Okay. Okay. Thanos or Darkseid?
Darkseid.
Okay. DC or Marvel?
DC.
Okay. Leonardo DiCaprio or Marlon Brando?
Oh, Marlon Brando. Any day.
Okay. Spielberg or Scorsese?
Scorsese.
Okay. Javier Bardem or Benicio del Toro?
I'm going to go Benicio del Toro.
Okay. Mikey Madison or Sophie Thatcher?
Sophie Thatcher.
Okay. Flash or Cyborg?
Flash.
Terra or Beast Boy?
Beast Boy.
Okay. Deathstroke or Deadshot?
Deathstroke.
Okay. Guardians of the Galaxy or The Suicide Squad?
Ooh. We're talking the movies.
Yeah. The one, both of them are gun made.
Okay, alright. I would say Suicide Squad then.
Okay. 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 Deadpool or Lobo?
Lobo.
Okay. Okay. Aquaman or Namor?
Aquaman.
Okay. Okay. John Wick or Neo?
John Wick.
Okay. Okay. Keanu Reeves or Bruce Willis?
Keanu Reeves.
Okay. Carl Urban or Gerard Butler?
Ooh, that's tough. I'm gonna go with Carl Urban.
Okay. The Rock or Jason Statham?
Jason Statham.
Of course. Transporter.
It'd be treason if I didn't.
Transporter. I see. Ryan Gosling or Jake Gyllenhaal?
Ryan Gosling.
Okay. Aronofsky or Fincher?
Oh. I'm Aronofsky.
Okay. Interesting. James Gandolfini or Bryan Cranston?
James Gandolfini.
Okay. Breaking Bad or Sopranos?
Sopranos.
Okay. Better Call Saul or The Wire?
Call Saul.
Okay. Game of Thrones or Stranger Things?
Stranger Things.
Okay. Emilia Clarke or Kate Beckinsale?
Kate Beckinsale.
Okay. Messi or Ronaldo?
I will say Messi.
Okay. Harry Kane or Alan Shearer?
Shearer.
Okay. Fish and chips or pizza?
Pizza.
Okay. Alan Moore or Frank Miller?
Alan Moore.
Okay. Grant Morrison or Paul Dini?
Very tough. It's got to be Paul Dini, I'm afraid.
Okay. Two-Face or Penguin?
Two-Face.
Okay. Scarecrow or Loki?
Scarecrow.
Okay. Wonder Woman or Wolverine?
Oh. Wolverine.
Okay. Teen Titans or X-Men?
X-Men.
Okay. Avengers or Justice League?
Justice League.
Okay. James Gunn or Sam Raimi?
I'm going to say James Gunn.
Okay. Armie Hammer or Henry Cavill?
Oh, Henry Cavill.
Okay. Tron or Tron Legacy?
I've not seen Tron Legacy, so I'll have to pick Tron.
Okay. Silver Surfer or Galactus?
You can say Galactus.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Marilyn Monroe or Audrey Hepburn?
Marilyn Monroe.
Okay. Michelle Pfeiffer or Michelle Williams?
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Of course. Aphex Twin or Daft Punk?
Aphex Twin.
Okay. Autechre or Bourse of Canada?
I don't know, so I will go with the second one.
Okay. Imagine Dragons or Nickelback?
Imagine Dragons, come on.
Yeah. Okay. Coldplay or Maroon 5?
Maroon 5, I suppose.
Okay. Snoop Dogg or Ice Cube?
Ice Cube.
Okay. Freddie Gibbs or The Game?
The Game.
Okay. Gil Scott-Heron or Bob Dylan?
Bob Dylan.
Okay. Tribe Called Quest or Wu-Tang Clan?
Wu-Tang.
Okay. De La Soul or NWA?
NWA.
Okay. Okay. Travis Scott or ASAP Rocky?
ASAP Rocky.
Okay. Flume or Kaytranada?
I don't know, so I'll go with the first one.
Okay. Okay. Last of Us or GTA?
The Last of Us.
Okay. Bleeze, Green Lantern, or Hella, Marvel?
Hella, I think, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Sherlock Holmes or Doctor Who?
Doctor Who.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Lamborghini or Ferrari?
Ferrari.
Okay. 50 Cent or T.I.?
50 Cent.
Okay. 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 Kevin Conroy or Mark Hamill?
That'll be the late great Kevin Conroy.
Okay. 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 Arleen Sorkin or Tara Strong?
Arleen Sorkin.
Okay. Okay. Bella Ramsey or Emma Corrin?
I'm going to say Bella Ramsey.
Okay. Okay. Denzel Washington or Samuel L. Jackson?
Sam Jackson.
Okay. Okay. Morgan Freeman or Tom Hanks?
Oh, that's tough. Morgan Freeman.
Okay. Winona Ryder or Angelina Jolie?
Oh, that's also tough. Angelina Jolie.
Okay. Justin Timberlake or Britney Spears?
Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Britney Spears.
Okay. Miley Cyrus or Olivia Rodrigo?
Miley Cyrus.
Okay. Billie Eilish or Lana Del Rey?
Lana Del Rey.
Okay. The Weeknd or Frank Ocean?
The Weeknd.
Okay. 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 Pharrell or Timbaland?
Ooh, Timberland.
Okay. Just Blaze or Havoc?
I don't know, but Havoc sounds cool.
Okay. Okay. These are comic books. Teen Titans Judas Contract or Batman The Dark Knight Returns?
Oh, Dark Knight Returns.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Toronto or Chicago as cities?
Not been to either of them, so I will say Toronto. Out of politeness.
Okay. Okay. Second last one. Injustice, the video game, or Arkham?
Arkham.
Okay. Last one. Cookies or cake?
Cookies.
Okay. Bonus one. Need for Speed or Forza?
Need for Speed.
Okay. Dumb bonus one. Jeff Johns or Tom King? Hello?
Hello, yes, I said Tom King.
Okay. Okay. All right, that's the end of the interview, bro. Really honored.
Oh.
Really, really honored, man. I've been a big fan of yours for a while.
Well, thank you.
And, man, look, I granted, it wasn't perfect, but, I mean, nothing really is perfect, but, I really appreciate you coming on, because, usually when I send out these requests, I'm always afraid they're going to reject, that's kind of a fear of rejection type of thing going on, but, man, I really appreciate you coming on. We had this conversation, we did this thing together, and I'm rooting for you, man. Always root for small-time creators, so Have a nice one.
Yeah. And listen. Don't let other people's perceptions or, your idea of what the perception is put you down at all.
Yeah.
Have faith in yourself. Keep going. Do whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
And you will find an audience. You'll find like-minded people.
Yeah.
That's how this all works. You just put yourself into it, open yourself up to people, and most people will be receptive and cool. And occasionally you'll have nasty people who you can tell them to go take a flying you-know-what, and then mute them and never have to think about them again.
Yeah. Thanks, Brad. Have a nice one.
Yeah, you too.
Bye. That is another episode of the Renegade Podcast. Hope you guys enjoyed. Same way you enjoyed this one, putting this one together. See you guys later.